With that sunshine, you're not gonna see me. No. Good night, good night, good night, good night. Hi, are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for season 2 of Everything It's Zoe? Welcome to yet again another episode of Everything It's Zoe. And this season, it's all about everything Trini Christmas. But guess what? We are changing the time. That's right. Everything It's Zoe is now on Monday nights at 8 p.m. live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch on my channel, Zoe Sazzle. So join us every Monday night as we kick off your week right. Real topics in real time, in real TNT, with your host, me, Zoe Sazzle. This is Everything It's Zoe, season 2. Good night, good night, good night. Good night, everybody, and welcome to Everything It's Zoe, season 2, the Trini Christmas edition. This is episode 2. Listen, it's Wednesday night. Welcome to episode 2. The episode is titled Fashion of the Future. And we are here tonight. We're going to chat with Jade Drakes, extraordinary local jeweler, and Risanne Martin, local stylist and designer. We have such a show in store for you tonight. Listen, y'all, I'm so excited We were supposed to come to you on Monday nights. As you know, it's season 2. We here every Monday night. But guess what? The whole internet, the entire internet across the Caribbeans shut down on Monday. Monday, the internet was like, yeah. That's me. The internet say, all your Corona make all you take a break whole year. Everybody was on vacation. I was working overtime. So you know what? Today is my break. That was the internet on Monday. Guess what? We rode it out. We rode the wave. It's Wednesday. We said we're not missing a week, and so we are here. So welcome once again to Everything It's Zoe Season 2. This is episode 2, Fashionistas of the Future. And tonight we have so much in store for you. I'm so excited. Don't forget to like, follow, and share at Zoe Sazzle on Instagram and Everything It's Zoe. And once you get in here, love is love. Everybody is somebody. And I see we have some people in here already. Bring them back up. We have Mr. Marlon James. Love your look. Thank you. Thank you, the fabulous Marlon James. Who else do we have? Aha! Samantha Bitty. I can't see. Can you see now? How about now? What about now? How about now? You can see. I know you can see. You're with us. You're welcome. Alrighty, let's get right into it because guess what? We are 10 minutes in and the show is rolling. On our first segment for tonight, as per usual, we have not abandoned you. Let's go with hot headlines. Hot headlines. All right, so hot headlines is a segment. It's a segment that we have created really for us to, just bring to you all what's happening at the top of these segments every week. Before we go on, I just want to tell you all tonight, because it's Wednesday, we don't have our full studio crew with us. And I have our producer here. Let me tell you, I'm feeling so bad because before our show started, I gave up. It was not buff, y'all. I was just feeling flustered. I wasn't ready. And, but Nige, how you doing? He's in there. He's ready. Give me a good old thumbs up, big smile. So we're good to go here at the Everything It's Zoe studio. Let's go with hot headlines. Hot headlines. All right. So tonight up in our first hot headline, first, and I would say most importantly, in as much as, Everything It's Zoe is all about the joy and the lightness and the beauty of all that's happening here in Trinidad and Tobago. We also have to keep it real, right? Our slogan, our tagline is real people in real time in real PNG. You all know they have a little thing to say, Trinidad is not a real place. Well, guess what? We're realer than real. And unfortunately, at the end of last weekend, into the top of this weekend, we had another reminder of how real Trinidad is really indeed. And this reminder came in the form of over this past month and really the preceding months, we have been getting increasing reports of missing girls. It comes up on the phone, it comes up on the Instagram, the loop, the news stories, missing girl, missing girl, missing girl, missing girl. And unfortunately, we had another instance of another missing young lady that was found murdered a few days after. So let's bring up our first image just so we can show. Tonight we want to pay a special tribute to Ashanti Riley. The name of the young lady, is Ashanti Riley. And posts went out at the end of last week, really kind of like Wednesday to Thursday, where people were sharing her picture. And this post in particular that we're showing, this image is from Rapworks Delhi. And the reason it's from Rapworks Delhi is because, as the next image will show, Rapworks Delhi is where her mother worked, right? The young lady's mother worked at Rapworks Delhi. And within the space of a weekend, the young lady was found murdered in the bushes. Once again, her name is Ashanti Riley. Do we have that other? Let's show the other image or the other picture, just so that they could see some of what's come out of it. And so this is another image shared from Rapworks Delhi earlier this week on Monday, I believe. They indicated that they would be closed. The Arapita Avenue of Rapworks Delhi would be closed until further notice as they support each other in the unfathomable loss of Ashanti. And that's because Ashanti's mother worked at Rapworks Delhi. And there was a lot of information coming out about this story. Do we have the video, the slideshow? No, it's okay if we don't have it. Let's put back up the image. there was so much information coming out about the murder of this young lady, and one of the main things that came out in a radio interview, one of the radio interviewers, I'm not ready for that one yet. You see that one? We're gonna deal with that one. Just yeah, hold up on. I will deal with that one just now. I am ready to deal with that part of it yet. Dealing with, let's get the image of her and her mom on the screen. We're still dealing with what actually happened. And so part of the research into what happened, we found out that Ashanti and her mother recently moved into this neighborhood. And she was taking public transportation. One of the things we know for sure is that, you know, the issue of her missing came because everybody was saying, you know, she was last seen going into a taxi. This was the taxi drive. This was the taxi, you know, the kind of taxi. And so now she's missing. Could we do some help? And what came out in the information after is that this taxi driver, who's the same person she went into the car with, and then, you know, after, and we don't want to make assumptions because the police have their own work to do, and so we leave the police to do their investigative work and run charges. But apparently this taxi driver has been known in the area to be an interferer of girls, a rapist. You know, we could choose so many different words to say, but the reality is, you know, he has been known, you know, so much so that apparently he interfered, raped with, and, you know, we say interfered, but, you know, just to keep the triggers light for the viewers that might be watching, he interfered with, earlier on in time ago, he interfered with a young lady in the village, which is a family member, and actually impregnated her. And, you know, it's now that we're getting all this information out about what is really happening. And the question has to remain, well, how this man could be working in a village, working taxi in a village, and how it is everybody know. Everybody know, and I talk to you about already trying to keep the blood pressure here. You know, because if the blood pressure started to rise, we wouldn't really accomplish anything on the show tonight. So that was one of my biggest aspects of hot headlines. Most specifically, rest in peace to Ashanti Riley. And even now, as we speak, there are so many other young women still missing, right? And the cases keep on coming up. And more importantly than the cases coming up, the information surfaces so soon after, which means that the information is already there. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. This place small. We could find the weed fields with the helicopter from above. And we legal. So tell me, right? I don't want to get, as I said, I don't want to get too much into Ashanti Riley's story, mainly also because next week, Monday, we are hosting a special interview, not just a special interview, but a special episode to deal with the epidemic that's currently happening with our young women, and not just young women, but women in general, the state of women in our country. And the last thing I want to say about it is that picture that the Newsday released on social media, and as quick as, but the swiftness that they released it, they pulled it back, because the question says, right, and they were saying it as though, you know, if they were in the streets, they would want to be in the streets. You're lucky you all weren't in the streets asking this question. The question says, if you could, what would you say to murdered teenager Ashanti Riley? Newsday, and you all know I know the editor. I don't want to say a name, Lavi, because I'm sure that maybe something got mistranslated on the way down, because I know the editor of the Newsday, and I know that her politics and her stance on these situations is not one to be taken lightly. So I will assume there's not a reflection on that. Beyond that, this question should not be posted. The question should not have anything to do with what would we say to the now unfortunately gone Ashanti Riley. It's not about what we would say to her, because they have nothing to say to Ashanti Riley. There was nothing that needed to be said to her that morning before she got dressed. There was nothing that needed to be said to her before she left the house, before she stepped in the taxi. There was nothing. Nothing needed to be said on any of those occasions, because none of those occasions have anything to do with passing or putting any blame or fault on Ashanti Riley at any of her actions. So we have nothing to say to her. What we do have to say to is to all of the men in our society. The two kinds of men. One, the men that are the perpetrators of the violence, that, you know, don't have it in them to conquer their demons and move beyond. And two, to their friends, the men that are their friends, the men that know better, the men that are healed, the men that are not, you know, deep in the throes of sickness that the other men are in, it is your responsibility to pass on the message. Right? As I said, thank you all so much for your comments, Samantha Bitty, Stephanie Joseph, Winter Ford. Thank you all for commenting and supporting the statement. As I said, we're not going to go into this too much, which we already have as it needed to. But I think that's the end of our hot headlines for tonight. We'll cap it there. Next week, hot headlines. Next week, as I said, tune in. We'll have a very, very special conversation with 3 women, actually. And they are all members of the feminism activism community. And they're all engaged in work, which is doing for the community. So I'll leave our hot headlines there for tonight. I was going to do a little quick, funny video, but I am feeling quick and I am feeling funny. I am feeling quick and I am feeling funny. The state of our woman and the state of what's happening in the nation is very, very important. And I refuse to just let I buy and be a geep, goop, goop. Because it ain't. Samantha Bitty, bless you, sweetie. Keisha Jones, exactly. Bless you all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your voices. And we're going to do more, right? As I said, this is just, we just wanted to touch on it quickly this week, but next week, we're going to get further into it. All righty. So that was hot headlines. That was hot headlines. Nige, how you doing? You good? Nice. And I see everybody in our in-studio audience is good. Next up, we're going to move right into our first interview for tonight. Yeah, we're going to move into our first interview for tonight. On tonight's first interview, I have a little segment called On My Xmas List, right? And On My Xmas List is all about things that I would have loved to be in my Christmas list. That's not the, it's not that one. No, it's just not that one. That one is from last week. It's okay. It's all right. Don't worry. So first up tonight in our first interview, we have Jade Drakes. Jade Drakes is a local jeweler and artisan exquisite. Let's welcome Jade Drakes to the Everything It's So We Said. Hi, Jade.
Hi, darling. Gosh, you look very beautiful.
I'm hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You look very beautiful tonight.
Thank you. So do you, Jade, you told me you made this very beautiful crown just for tonight?
Just for you.
I love it. How are you doing, Jade? It's such a pleasure to have you on. Before we continue, I just want to make special mention. No, you mean not to twice, but for tonight, the hand in particular that I might be talking a lot with. And that's because, right, that's because this beautiful piece of jewelry on my hand here that I have a hard time operating without, this actually came from Jade Drakes herself. So Jade, before we get further into the interview, let's go with a quick little video to show our in-studio audience a bit more about Jade Drakes jewelry. All right. I thought we had a little song with the video. So Jade, while the slide is playing, let's chat a bit more. Jade, welcome. How are you doing tonight?
I'm all right. It's hard to snap out of the conversation you just had, but I will find a way because, out of darkness comes light.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And it's not even just about us having the conversation here. The conversation is palpable. The conversation is us leaving the house, thinking about, I wonder, with what all that's happening, am I safe today?
Yeah, I know myself and many, many people don't leave the house at night anymore. We just it makes no sense. And that's my Trinidad that I know. I used to travel in the dark from Holy Name Walk all the way down Charlotte Street to get home in Barataria. And I don't recognize it. And it's sad and it's disgusting. But anyway, let's talk about jewelry.
Yes, let's talk about jewelry. It's still Christmas time. We have jewelry royalty with us. Jay, tell me just a bit, how did jewelry making find you? So you would see some of the pieces that we just showed in the slideshow. I'll bring it back up again. Some of Jade's, pieces of her work. So Jade, I'm so curious. In this unique place with the unique combination of individual that you are, how did jewelry making find you?
I never really have a set answer for that. I just know that I've always been involved with it. I remember selling necklaces in primary school for $10. I remember as a teenager giving gifts to the actors, wire bending across driftwood and semi-precious stones. But it could have something to do with my father setting me up with little beads and buckets of beads and strings while he was painting, just leave
Okay.
him alone a little bit to work. So it could have something to do with that.
Right. Okay. I love that. So you can even, in just that tiny place of the craft work, the workmanship of working with your hands, doing something with your hands.
Always,
And
yeah.
so it began there, but what would the process have been like to perfect your craft? To go from, a little girl playing with beads and learning about the curiosities of the world to making, a fabulous piece such as this. What was that journey like?
It's still a journey. It's still me trying to figure out how to. My granny always say you can't please others unless you please yourself. So I stand by that first. But you always hear the voices of friends who are like, "Come on, you can make something a little bit more affordable." So it's always me trying to balance everything and just listening
Ah,
to my stones, listening to what's on my bench, listening to what I have, working with what I have. I actually talk to the things on my bench, which I'm not ashamed to admit, and that's
right.
how I make it work.
No, you shouldn't be. Right. And let's talk a little bit about that. Let's talk about that a little bit more. When you say you talk to them as part of that communication, what do you think what do you think you're really communicating in there with your pieces?
Um, Color is something that reaches out, colors and shapes.
Mhm. Okay.
Yeah, colors that beg to be together. Sometimes it comes out of
Right.
the robot ring that you're wearing came out of problem solving, and
Okay.
a pair of earrings joined a ring. And when I was done, I was like, "This looks like a little robot," and yeah, it's magical and it's just expression of yourself. That's it.
Right. So it's this unique journey of, kind of playing with the materials in front of you and allowing them to kind of dictate the process of like, you know what? I think we want to go in this direction. And that's kind of how
Yeah.
you land with your magic, right?
Yeah, it's literally like I would hear on the corner of my eye something going, me, put me with that one. Or they might be together in the drawer because it's a bit of a mess sometimes. They might be near each other. And I'm like, oh, these two are asking to be together. Let's see what happens.
I love that. I love that. And so, how long now, Jade, have you been? Would you say you've been really making jewelry? With precious stones, precious metals. How long have you been a jeweler for now?
In the 90s, I started wire bending across semi-precious stones and driftwood. And then I started fine trade school at the university in 1998. So that's when I learned to work with metals. I began in 1998. I would say
Okay.
pieces that would have solder and joints and connections and
Right.
yeah.
Right. So it's been a solid 22 years, not even 20 years, more than
Long
20
time.
years. Yeah, and in that time, what would you say? Do you say you have a proudest moment, proudest collection?
Um, I particularly love my Minhun collection. That's a that's my collection of dog faces. I went
Right.
to a school that there was a teacher called Ruth Peters that he finds a way to separate you from everyone else. And the story of the dog came out of a story where this dog attacked my grandmother's chicken, and we went deeper and deeper into that. So I would say that's one of my proudest moments because it's a strong line. you know, and I
Right.
had a dog that I was really close to at that time, and I studied dogs. You know, you can't just like make a piece and expect it to be strong. You have to go a little bit deeper and do a lot of research and take a lot of time to, you know, focus on why you're doing this and what's it about. You know,
Right. Yeah, because
and recently I love my robot rings and my mushroom rings because it's with kids, it's with kids in my life, it's good to have something that I know customers love and I know the steps, and I can work with it and stop and get back to it and repeat. It's good to repeat too, you know.
it
Repetition is good.
is. Right. Yeah. And you mentioned something quickly there. You mentioned you brought up kitties. You brought up kitties just really briefly. But you are a proud mom of two boys, not so?
Yes. Yep. Who are
Tell us
right now
how
like
I love it. Tell us how that, and we were talking a bit more about this, about, the influence that children have not only on our creative processes or thinking processes, but also they kind of influence us to think about things a little bit differently and to play with or engage with our creative processes a little different. How's that been for you?
um I would say that I still stand in my own skin when it comes to my kids. I can separate them from my work. They they don't really have a say. I don't think they
Right.
influence me much. I mean, I would like to find more. I would like to work less and find more time for them so that. But my work and being a mother is two separate things completely.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, love that. There's an aspect though about your kiddies that I think we will lead well into this next thing, which is you are making a unique journey and you have a GoFundMe page for your journey to Ireland. But before I let you tell us about it, let's take a look at the video. The video will tell us a bit more about it.
Zoe, you cracked up a lot there just now, but I believe you brought up my project where I'm trying to buy a shop in Ireland.
That's right. We're gonna take a look at the video.
Okay.
Hi friends, I am Jade Drakes, a jeweler and artist living on the Caribbean island
So
of
we got
Trinidad and Tobago.
like this.
There's so many wonderful things about living in Trinidad, and at the
Let's
same
start.
time, there are an equal number of challenges.
All right, we're gonna start it over just so I can get it clean from the top, so we can hear you.
Drakes, a jeweler and artist living on the Caribbean island of Trinidad and Tobago. There's so many wonderful things about living in Trinidad, and at the same time, came across an opportunity to purchase a jewelry business in Ireland that felt like fate. 20 years ago, I visited the same county in Ireland, and now 2 decades later is this incredible, life-changing possibility. I love art, I love making jewelry, and I'm devoted to my customers and customer service. I feel a very deep connection with the current owners. They have loved and nurtured this shop for 20 years, and I know I'm the person to love and nurture it for another 20 more.
Yeah.
I enjoy working hard and making a difference. And that's not always possible as a jeweler or an artist on my island. Trinidad and Tobago runs on two industries, oil and tourism. Both of these have recently taken a hit. So tourist dollars that once may have purchased jewelry and art just does not exist anymore. I also teach art to kids. And very often the schools don't have the funds to purchase the supplies for the kids. Even in my home, I have to tell my own children that I can't afford to buy them paint. I get so many emails from potential customers asking to buy my work. This is risky because there's no guarantee that the materials that I need won't be stolen on their way to me or the finished piece en route to the customer. I love Trinidad, but it has become heartbreakingly difficult to survive as an artist, let alone prosper.
Yes. So, Jay, tell us a bit more. You have started to go through this company, and it's to help on your journey to Ireland.
Oh, I'm sorry that you keep cracking up, but I have a gist of what you're saying. I'm just looking at that video there, and I'm looking at the images of that shop, and there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that that's for me. And that's a scary feeling, as well as it's backed with a lot of confidence, but it's a scary feeling because I know I'm going to do it. I know that there's a big change coming ahead, a big, huge change coming ahead.
Yes, I know that
I
feel too.
for many years, not many years, but for a long time, I've been writing friends and writing shops, and most of the shops won't even answer. Where can I put my work? Where can I showcase my work? And when I saw the ad for this on a special Facebook page for jewelers that I never opened because I'm not a jeweler in the UK, but I opened it and I just stood there frozen. I was like, this is for me. The only thing I was missing were the words "Dear Jade," and it was like the universe opened up. And to add a little bit to that, I had just finished a meditation, 21-day challenge meditation with you. And I kept wondering, I'm like, when is my turn? What is going on? I guarantee you the other people in this meditation don't have it as rough as me. What is for me? When is it coming? And literally within 2 weeks, there it was.
Wow, Jade. As long as you said it, I literally remember the time frame was doing that 21-day journey, and I was so excited. I really didn't put that together. So, and afterward, go ahead.
Okay, the first thing I did was write a bunch of potential investors, and that didn't work out. So a friend of mine said, I'm going to start you a GoFundMe, and that's what we've been doing so far. My hope is with Christmas sales and a push and a push and a push and a push, come up with money for the airline tickets, and the GoFundMe will be the deposit for the shop. And hopefully by early next year, January, February, we go and we see what we're getting ourselves into. And the current shop owners are ready to meet me. They're the loveliest people I've met.
I love that. And so what's your financial goal on the GoFundMe?
It's at about 90,000 right now. And
and that's TT?
No, that's Euro. Well, that's US, but we're aiming for Euro.
Okay, perfect.
It's how much they're asking for, and I'm hoping that on my own I could come up with living expenses, enough to feed us for 6 months, because the shop is seasonal, by the way. It's not open all year round, so enough for us to get by.
Okay.
And then airline tickets.
Fab. Jade, let it be known first here, well, not first here because I know you've let it be known before, but let it be known that this shop in Ireland is yours, and I speak it that the next interview we will be doing will be you in Ireland, and we will be tuning in to see how things are going. Before I let you go, yes,
I'm giving you a tour.
Yes, you see, we can already see it. I love it. Before I let you go, tell us, it's Christmas time. We know you are in many Christmas markets. I know that you still have pieces on sale. I know that you also are showing this Friday with Jade Drakes. So just tell us, where can we find you leading up to the Christmas season to get our Jade Drakes jewelry piece?
I'm going to definitely post in my stories regularly where I'm going to be. And I've sort of separated a couple jobs that I do. I make masks with a friend named Jamie, who's also trying to make enough money for surgery. So Jamie and I are making masks together. I have my jewelry at Jade Drakes Open Studios this weekend. It's definitely going to be up on social media. And I'm also doing roots yard for about 5 days. So I don't usually take my...
And roots yard starts on the 12th, not so?
I'll have to double check. I actually forgot. I have 13 market days in my head, and one more event with Island Vintage Goods. I used to collect a lot of vintage dresses, and thanks to my mother, my being a mother, I don't fit into half of them. So Island Vintage Goods is gonna sell a lot of my dresses for me. I'm looking forward to that as well.
Lovely. Oh my gosh, that's so lovely. And we have your contact information on screen. So if any of our viewers want to contact Jade, and if any of you want to donate her GoFundMe campaign. Jade is going to Ireland in 2021. And so don't miss out on the opportunity to be part of the journey. Jade, it's been so lovely having you here. Thank you so much for joining us on this interview.
Thank you, Zoe. Thanks.
I know we're too far, right? Because we're playing a little game at the end of the episode.
Okay, then but I could go charge my phone a little bit. I sat here.
You could definitely go charge your phone. Definitely.
And I drain the battery.
Okay, all right, no problem. We'll see you in a little bit. All right, folks, that was on my list with Jade Drakes, jeweler. Right, thank you so much, Jade, for joining us. Thank you. We'll see you soon. How y'all doing, ladies and gents? Everybody in between. Hey, what we have here? Marvin Dowridge. Hi, Marvin, darling. Yes, all the best to Jade. All right up. We're gonna go steamrolling. I want to be steamrolling. I'll be steamrolling with you all this Wednesday. We usually have everything into so we on a Monday, but it's Wednesday. We go in. We started off on a little rough note, but we're gonna keep it going because we have to keep the spirits up. It's Christmas. It's Trini Christmas. We have a lot going on. And up next, I want to present to you all the second installment of a beautiful segment that we bring to you called On My Xmas Record, right? And on our Xmas record this week, we will be hearing from the lovely, the incredible, the talented Stephanie Joseph. Stephanie's in the comments, so Stephanie, we're going to check in with you a little later. But ladies and gents, enjoy this rendition of Hallelujah by Stephanie Joseph on this installment of On My Xmas Record.
I heard there was a secret chord that David played, and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music.
Wasn't that incredible? I know I was on screen. I was just giving you a little pause there. Wasn't that absolutely royal, majestic? That was Stephanie Joseph. And her let me see. I almost gonna call Stephanie Jones. That was Stephanie Joseph, right? And her Instagram handle is at Moons Music. Yeah. So I encourage you to check out Stephanie. She is an incredible vocalist. Last week, come on, Romano. He performed Silent Night. Next week, we have another vocalist. Listen, I'm gonna tell you, it's a whole Christmas season we have here, you know. So make sure and check out, yes, Online Cacique Award, Liam Risanne. That's right. They need a new category for us by the time we finish. 2021, new Cacique Award category. Thank you all for staying tuned, everybody on the inside. Next up, we have a fabulous interview with the incredible, the immaculate stylist to the stars, designer. Listen, fashion goddess extraordinaire. Let's welcome to the Everything It's So We said, Risanne Martin of Brown Cotton Caribbean. I'm so excited!
But you know, I hear Chris Bacchanal. What are we talking about? What are we talking about already?
Listen, I know you're ready. How are you doing, Risanne?
I'm good. I'm very good.
How's your Christmas season shaping up?
Very nice and quiet and peaceful, you know?
Okay.
Very different from how it usually is.
Quiet for you?
Yes, very quiet and peaceful. I've done a lot of work in the garden and planting and thing, yeah.
I love it. Risanne, for those of us tuning in, Risanne Martin is stylist to the stars. And when I say well, if I'm not talking too much, nights, let's show them the evidence. Let's show them the evidence, right? Let me not talk and tell y'all. Let's show y'all, right? Risanne is a designer and she's a stylist, as we say to the stars, literally. All of our top tier local talent is usually styled from music videos. You see Shansia on the screen. That's Risanne. From music videos to commercials to photo shoots. Risanne is one of our most renowned, not only stylists, but designers in contemporary Caribbean fashion, right? And as you've seen across our screen, she has dressed Caribbean royalty. We have Patrice Roberts. Stand back over for them. They ain't get the full roster tonight. They ain't get the full roster yet, right? Black one. There's Risanne herself. From Patrice Roberts to Shansia of Jamaica, dancehall queen of the world right now. Risanne in one of her pieces. Right there we have Freetown Collective. Risanne, I don't want to just continue. Before we go into it fully, there's Nadia Batson. In a piece that's a piece you made, not so?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh! Y'all, I'm so honored. Where or who would you say you got your sense of style from?
Well, my sense of style is always evolving, and it's never one thing at one time ever. Malam, it's never one thing at one time. It's always evolving, so it's very difficult to kind of pin down like a particular genre or vibe. Mm-hmm. But 90s fashion really influenced me. 90s fashion. I'm obsessed with 90s fashion. The boldness, the neons, the prints, everything is so exciting for me. But I've always been an advocate of wearing stylish stuff. My mom told me when I was 2, I was always fussing and like bawling down the place to not wear some things and then other things I was good with. So, hi, Liam. Liam, you fine.
Right.
Liam, come off day. Oh, okay, I'm back. I'm back.
Wait. That's not.
Yeah, Liam, don't do that. Don't do that, Liam. Not when I'm talking. Like, whew. All right, I'm back, Zoe. I'm back.
I love it. But Russ, I would go say even beyond the 90s. There's something about your eye. There's something, and maybe it's just innate. We don't always have something to pin it on, but there's something about the way you see fashion that really you're right, in pieces, both from brown cotton, in the pieces that you design, and also in your styling. You're not pinned to one thing, right? We've seen you over quite a number of years now, and we've not been able to say, all right, yeah, oh God, brown cotton, yes, brown cotton, we know. You give me that last year in a different pattern, we know. It's not been that really, you've really found a way, and I don't think it's a finding. I think it's just in you to keep the eye. There's something about your eye. There's something about the way that you frame fashion, the way that you pair images, textures, colors, that makes the entire picture come alive. But you're able to do that with a refreshed vision each time. How is this just in you? Do you have a magic? Do you have a science?
It's Obia. To be honest, I evolve a lot. I change things a lot, and I think that kind of keeps things fresh. I always question things, question the way I did something, try it another way. A lot of experimenting, and my creative eye, I think it kind of haunts me. At night in my bed, I can't sleep. I waking up with this idea, it really, really haunts me. So it's really my passion. I really think I have to do this. I don't think I could try doing anything else too far away from fashion or interior design or anything like that, because it literally does haunt me. Sometimes it's not always a good thing. You want to sometimes it's hard to relax and just focus and think of nothing. My brain is always calculating something, some color, some pattern, it's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
And it's really a blessing and a curse,
It is.
I want to ask about your experiences with these stars. Is there anything? Now, we've been on set before together, right? Which was so delightful, such a lovely experience. But is there anything that you've learned? Because you've really worked with the top echelon of not only Trinidadian, but Caribbean entertainers. And, how's that experience for you been? You're not just a creative creating beautiful things, but you're creative who's able to engage your creativity on platforms that really really reach. How has that experience been for you?
I think management of relationships is something that I'm really, 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 I've really focused on over the years. I've made a lot of mistakes and just kept growing and learning from them unapologetically. And managing relationships, managing my own mood and my own energy and vibe, because energy can't lie. You know what I mean? You can't pretend. You know what I mean? When you're sharing an experience, like when I'm styling, it's a very intimate experience. We talk about all kinds of things. All the insecurities could come out, things that you hate, things that you love, things that you think are not for you. I am showing you a different way of being. And sometimes that brings out a lot of vulnerability. So I think addressing my energy flow and my personal vibe and being genuinely joyful and happy as a person, it really does kind of emanate, and all these stars feel that. People I work with, they feel that vibe and they say, yes, I need this in my life again. And the trust, creating trust is super important. Not only like signing off NDA kind of trust, but also like trust in this is what I have to wear, this is who I have to be, because different looks require different personalities, different, characters have to come out of you,
Right.
So I think it's a very gentle process, and I really love to approach it in that kind of way with my good vibe, and and
when you trust, they also really trust your vision. They trust that you know that you have your finger on that pulse, and that when you send them out, clothed, robed, costumed, they have that trust to say, aha, I could really step out, chest to the ceiling, because Risanne is on it. Girl, listen, I'm
here cheering me on. At the same time, the work doesn't only end with styling. Like, I don't just bring and put accessories on you and say, right, you are that. I'm literally telling you are that. Let's do that. You're come on, we're ready. Let's, So by the time you get out there and the director sees you, you ready. You ready for the director. You ready for anybody. Like camera action, right? So the vibe is it's super, super important as a whole part of managing relationships in the creative industry that we don't talk about enough. Everybody just knows about, being a diva, getting on set with all this on all this stuff. and being a diva and whatever. And a lot of people, they go on my Instagram and they think that to come to work I would like full makeup and just be looking so glam, right? And that is not a reality. You know, I have uncomfortable stuff, I have on no makeup, you know what I mean? I have to be very comfortable to do the work, you know?
To execute the work, exactly. Because you there on set, not to just look pretty, you there on set to work and to make sure that who you styling looking pretty. And a lot of people don't necessarily have that perspective. They just see the Instagram product and, you know, they take it from there. But you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
With stars particularly, the main trick with working with them, other than vibe, which I mean, a cafe, you need to be ready, is ensuring that they don't look like each other. So, yeah, that's kind of hard for me in a way because, well, a challenge. Because
you have all of it,
right? But my style sometimes is you could tell, like you can see some of them like here, you know. And not every star wants to be that. They want to be, you know what I mean? They don't want to look like each other. So that is always a challenge that keeps me constantly in my head, just working, trying to figure out, you know, how to up the ante and just keep going, you know?
I love. Yeah. I know it. I love it. And I want to ask you, what would you say if you, and I know we can get cliche into this, but I know you're not going to take me down the cliche route. So what is one visual element you would say is like a cornerstone of Caribbean fashion or even not just fashion, but Caribbean aesthetic?
Caribbean aesthetic. Okay. I think that, well, it's very hard for me to box anything in because I don't deal with boxes at all. I think the Caribbean aesthetic is, again, constantly evolving. It's constantly evolving. So, like, for me, a classic Caribbean aesthetic designer would be Robert Young.
Right. The cloth.
Right? The cloth. Listen, can he be any more amazing? Right?
Iconic.
Iconic, right? Yeah. So whenever I think and feel and go back to my childhood and go back to anything, the first image visual comes up is the cloth, right? For me, because I'm very into color and print and vibe and energy and life and movement and spirituality. And the cloth are all those things wrapped up into these nice cotton business, right?
Yes.
So that is where I kind of is always my jump off point when asked these questions, the cloth. And then I kind of go into more contemporary, younger designers, just experimenting, you know, James Hackett and his print and his textiles, you know what I mean? That's very Caribbean. And he does a lot of anime kind of shapes and stuff. So he's very into that kind of vibe.
And the placement of the color and the lines and
Yeah, I'm very into him as well. I would also call my brand very Caribbean aesthetic.
Of course.
Because what I'm inspired by is my neighborhood, growing up in my neighborhood in Carenage.
Right.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you. You keep on going, of course. Yes, I'm hearing
you. That was a big influence to me. A standpipe, bathing by the standpipe, going on by the sea with them boys. All of that is a huge influence for me. But what kind of propelled all of that is, the second that I realized I was worthy of greatness, I was worthy of being a designer and making my contribution, because I was very shy at the beginning, very insecure, kind of not sure if I should, even do it at all.
Yes.
And when I started, I was just using my raw influence, my neighborhood, fruits, vegetables, that kind of vibe. And that's kind of how I built my version of the Caribbean aesthetic. But I think we all have different versions and they all kind of play into each other, because I'm heavily influenced by the cloth and other designers, And
and I see the 90s in your work too. I see, but I see that influence, and I see you taking the 90s and bringing it, like that fringe jacket that you make. And if I'm not not mistaken, did you make that fringe jacket during the lockdown?
I did. I started a YouTube channel during the lockdown, and that focus on upcycling because I'm trying to get people to stop buying clothes, especially fast fashion. We have enough clothes, guys. Like I'm pretty sure we all do have enough clothes, and we need to just stop buying fast fashion and upcycle and just make what we have magical. We have the time now because we're not going anywhere. We all come from San Tobago, which is costume nation. We are very resourceful and intuitive, right? And my YouTube channel just basically goes through my process of upcycling pieces and creating classic pieces. So that was I had bought 1,000,000 yards of yarn.
Yes.
From project that I was working on, and it kind of bust. The project kind of bust. So I had all the yarn there. I went and I got a little more, and I just decided to upcycle a cardigan and turn it into shaggy jacket. So it was really fun making it. And then I ended up using it for a White Oak campaign. So I still made this money. I still made some money from my upcycling. So that's what I'm trying to show, I'm trying to be the example.
The possibility. And something about that you brought up, starting in your community. I feel like you didn't only just start in your community, but also now you still work and give back to the community and not just around you, the community, but a lot of your work also entails mentorship, not so? I was looking through.
I'm a huge youth mentor. It is my way of not only giving back, but because I get a lot out of it as well. I gain so much by learning and listening to these young women, the young women that I mentor, that they are young women in my community and they're young women through different programs that I do. I do a program with FCB annually for citizens called Girls First. It's amazing. It's like a nationwide school tour. I've been doing it with them since 2017. Wow. And that has been my biggest reach, like hundreds of girls, literally. You know what I mean? That, all around Trinidad and Tobago. So that has been the biggest reach. But generally, what my workshop focuses on is worthiness, because it's something I personally struggled with for a long time, and a lot of people struggle with. And they don't even think that it's a thing. Worthiness, just knowing that you're worthy, being very sure that you're worthy. Like Jade is very worthy of her store, and she knows that. And that's why she's pushing for it. You know what I mean? The fact that she went on, then a lot of people see her doing that and be like, why should I just get a store here? Why should I just, you know what I mean? And settle and show herself. Why she have to shoot for the stars, So I'm doing the opposite of that. I'm doing the bitch, she needs to shoot for the stars.
I'm in the stars already, so I want to continue living.
You are literally in the stars.
No, exactly. Right? And that's what I'm talking about, is that mindset, that perspective of I am reaching for the stars. We done born in the stars, so we should be living in the stars. Hannah, we could continue talking all night.
I will enjoy myself.
Me too, at the hour mark. So before we wrap up the interview, I want to ask you how it's Christmas time, and even beyond Christmas, we're moving into next year too. How can people get in touch with you? And are you available just for, personal styling, brand styling?
I am not available for personal styling.
Okay.
I have like 4 more bookings for December, and then that's it for the rest of the year. I'm actually not available.
Right, yeah.
I'm just not available for the rest of the year, but you can contact me via email, browncottoncaribbean@gmail. Contact me on Instagram at RissyStyle. I will respond sometime. And but I'm not available for styling until January 2021.
2021. Perfect.
I'll be able to come and take all these monies.
That's right. That's right. I love it. All right, Riz, don't go too far. We're going to come right back. Thank you so much, everybody. That was Risanne. Yes, that was Risanne Martin of Brown Cotton Caribbean. Right? And that was our interview creative corner. Y'all, we at the hour mark, but listen, we still have beautiful things in store for you. Before we roll into our final segment tonight is called We Ain't Ready for the Final Segment. I brought up a video earlier last week. This segment now is called On My Xmas Menu. And last week we started making the true Trini Trini Christmas sorrel, which was truly, but we didn't get to finish it. So let's just check in quickly. Let's finish the Trini Christmas sorrel. And you all don't go anywhere. We're coming right back with both Jade Drakes and Risanne Martin. We're going to play our final games, go bye-bye, and wrap up the show. Yeah, we'll be right back. All right, now, pro tip, come a little closer. Pro tip, don't ever leave the sorrel fully covered, because if you, let me show you. If you leave it fully covered, you see all the bubblings? You see all those bubblings? See what's quickly happening? They'll bubble right up and bubble over. And that's sorrel wasted, right? So we see our sorrel has properly bubbled up. And actually, another pro tip, because this was the dark sorrel, I double boil her. I give her a good double boil to really pull her out, right? Now it's a little hot, and yeah, it's the heat for me.
Nice and hot and spicy meat. Yeah, boy.
Right? Yes, and you see now it's a little bit of a pinky color because we've really boiled it out, and the ideal goal is this. That's her, yeah? So what we're gonna do is, luckily for you all, I've already prepared. See, I already told you I had batch 1, right? So we're gonna put her to the side, let her cool, and we're gonna sweeten her. You all right to sweeten her? We add a generous Okay. All right. That's when you hear the answers. They tap you and they tell you yes, yes. Right? We stir. Let me give a little mug of the. Usually I let the hot one cool down first, but the little warmth will be nice for the sugar. So our sugar is just about melted. Now, usually you won't do this, but since it's only gonna be okay, no, I'll be proper.
You don't taste that?
Bam.
Delicious.
Okay, maybe just it's for the concentrate, you know, it's for like okay. Let's add a little more. Just to balance, you know. It's time for the plating of the sorrel, okay? Sorrel. Christmas in a glass. Oh, alrighty, y'all. That was our first installment of Everything A to Zoe on my Xmas menu. And listen, it didn't even come in. After you let our sorrel sit down. When you let our sorrel sit down. Trini Christmas in a glass. So, Mr. Marlon James, I realize Mr. Marlon James had enough to say in the comments. First, he come up with where the ginger, then about that enough. But you know my sugar enough? How you know I don't need more sugar? And then the last one he said about virgin. A virgin sorrel this. A virgin sorrel this. A virgin sorrel that. I didn't want to spike the sorrel too, oh gosh. Anyway, y'all, that segment was called On My Xmas Menu. And this was making true Trini Xmas sorrel with yours truly, Zoe, right? Hopefully on the next one, I'll have another little chef next to me. Alrighty, so we are into our final segment in tonight's show. This segment I've been wanting to premiere since the season began, but we haven't been able to. So guess what? Tonight's the premiere. It's Games Go Bye-Bye with Parang Pop Quiz. Yeah? Let's bring Risanne and Jade back to the Everything A to Zoe virtual set. Are you ready for the Parang Pop Quiz?
Yes.
Bring it.
Nice. Okay. Bring it. Love it. All right. So our first question is, in the song Super Santa by Marshall Montano, Santa was driving around in a big blank. What was Santa driving around in? A big blank.
Toyota, then Santa something. Toyota.
That's right, in a big time Toyota. Let's see. Well, them lovely tricks or a music stick. All right, so I'm gonna look at Santa. We missed the it was called With Everything. It come in. In a big you see, that's right, in a big time Toyota. Okay, nice. Let's see this next one. In the song Marcia Miranda, she says, now, my show writer wrote this one for me. Well, I find this one real easy. In the song, bring out. No, that can't be. No. Okay, let's try a next one. We're gonna try a next one. I ain't getting all that. I find that one too easy. Okay, next one. In the song "Hush Your Mouth" by Kenny G, he says, "A feeling to put blank in your mouth."
Not something. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like a piece of ham.
A feeling to put blank in your mouth. What is it? A piece of pork?
Ham. I don't know.
All right, so I just given you a little taste of the track. Also for our viewers at home that might know the song by ear, you already know it. You know? Okay. All right, this next one is A Drinking Anything by Scrunter. So he says, a drinking anything, a drinking blank, a drinking blank. Did I find it?
Is the rhythm in the song?
Jade, I think I said blank, a drinking blank.
I'm not hearing.
You're not hearing it too well? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what Scrunter has to say.
Okay. Bring something.
So he said, I'm drinking wine. It's white and then black.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So
I can't remember that there. That one, I
all
can't
right,
remember.
last one. I don't have this song for this one, so I'm gonna sing it, right? This last one is Alegria, Alegria by Daisy Voisin. So she sings Alegria, Alegria, se nació blanc. Alegria, Alegria, se nació blanc.
So it's my English, you know, so you're wicked then.
Jade, you have it. Yeah. Jade, you have it. It says, Alegría, alegría, se nació el Señor. Se nació el Señor means God was born, right? El Señor means God, and nació, se nació means was born. Alegría, alegría means joy, festivity, so joy, joy. You know, and one of the reasons I brought in that, Daisy was in Parang is because we know Parang and we know we have so many Spanish speakers in the country at this time. So it's nice for us to get a little Spanish rolling off the tongue. Ladies, it was such a pleasure having you all join us tonight. Thank you so much.
It was so good being here.
Thank you. Jade Drakes, Risanne, so much love. Keep in touch, and we're gonna stay tuned to see what's going on both of your ends. Love. Alrighty, ladies and gents, everybody in between. It seems like we have come to the end of yet another episode of Everything It's Zoe with yours truly, Zoe Sazzle. Don't forget to like, comment, share, follow, subscribe everywhere. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube at Zoe Sazzle, and we're also on Instagram at Everything Zoe. Also, you should know Everything Is Zoe is a production of Excess Studios, and all creatives involved have felt the effects of COVID-19. So we welcome contributions. If you have any contributions that you'd like to share with us, comments, you can do it to PayPal, Venmo. We also take local payments. We would appreciate any support that you have, because we also have a great in-studio team that's making this happen. So tonight, I want to say a special thanks to the members of our team. We have our in-studio director and technical producer, Mr. Nigel Williams. We also have our graphics world boss and SSMM, Ali V, upstairs holding things down. We have one of our team members, Amir Hall, who wasn't in set tonight, but he's still with us. Makeup artist, hairstylist, set designer, Nadia Shah. Nadia, thank you so much for the beautiful set that you supplied us with, and so much more. Ladies and gents, I'm so happy that we were able to do tonight. It was Wednesday night, so we had to kind of skip Monday because of the internet, but we didn't want to skip a week at all, so we came to you tonight, Wednesday. Our next episode is going to be next week, Monday. We're on again next Monday. And as I said earlier in the episode, we have a special episode in store next Monday where we will be discussing our women in action. So not just the state of our women and what's happening with our women, but also women who are doing something about it. I'm your host, Zoe Sazzle, and this has been Everything It's Zoe Season 2. Right? The Trini Christmas Edition. And this episode has been episode 2, right? Fashion of the Future. Thank you all so much for joining us, and I can't wait to see you next week. Love is love. Everybody is somebody. Bye.